Hey ladies and gentlemen, Wolfcryer here and welcome to another build guide. This is my build guide for the Innes LTK Pet build. Now this is my speed farming version of this build, though this build is fully capable of pushing into the 90 GRs, which is pretty awesome. One thing I gotta say, ladies and gentlemen, is this build is amazing. I am having so much fun farming T13 with this build. So let's go ahead and take a look at the gear. Now, like I said, this is my speed farming setup. Gets me through T13 rifts very quick, getting my DBs, getting my keys, getting out and starting a new one. First and very important to this build is the Innes Mantra set. Now you guys know that this is my favorite set for the monk, and with this build it truly shines. For the 2-piece set bonus, this increases the passive effect of your Mystic Ally and your base passive effect of your mantras by 100%, effectively doubling the passives on all of these. For the 4-piece set bonus, you gain the base effect of all 4 mantras at all times. And the 6-piece set bonus, gain 5 ruined Mystic Allies, and when combined with the crudest boots, this gives you 10 Mystic Allies, and your damage is increased by 125% for each Mystic Ally you have out, which equals 1250% increased damage to everything, to your Mystic Allies, your Lashing Tail Kick. Everything gets buffed by this set. Now you will achieve this by wearing the helm, chest, belt, pants, gloves, and cubing the Royal Ring of Grandeur. Next piece of gear that we are looking at is Lifeber's Soliloquy. Cyclone Strike reduces your damage taken by up to 50% for 5 seconds. Very useful in rifts. This is your main damage mitigator as far as your gear goes. And then we have Bindings of the Lesser Gods. This synergizes very well with Lifeber's and also increases the damage of your Mystic Allies and your Mystic Allies' active abilities. Enemies hit by your Cyclone Strike take up to 200% damage from your Mystic Allies for the next 5 seconds. Then we have the crudest boots. Mystic Ally summons 2 Mystic Allies that fight by your side. This is what is going to give you 10 Mystic Allies out and increase your damage by 1250% when combined with the 6-piece Innes set. The other set that we will be using is the Endless Walk set, the Traveler's Pledge Compass Rose combination. The 2-piece set bonus allows for less damage taken when you are moving, up to 50% less, and while you are standing still, all your damage is increased by up to 100%. Then for your other ring, very, very important to this build, Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. Reduce the remaining cooldown of one of your skills by 1 second when you hit with a resource spending attack. Your Lashing Tail Kick is your main source of attacking, and this will trigger the Obsidian Ring with every single attack, which is going to bring your Epiphany up faster and your Mystic Ally active is going to come up faster, which is great because you suck a lot of spirit using this build. And your Mystic Ally active is going to not only refresh all of your spirit, but it's going to pack a wallop as well with the damage that it does. For your weapons, you're going to be wearing the Scarbringer. The damage of Lashing Tail Kick is increased by up to 300% to the first 5 to 7 enemies hit. I got a really good one with 300% damage and the 7 enemies hit. So that was really, really beneficial to this build. Then, for your other weapon, you will be using Rabid Strike. Spirit spenders that teleport you while Epiphany is active are also mimicked on a nearby target for free. This is pretty much going to give you 2 Lashing Tail Kicks pretty much all the time. So you're going to be doing massive damage with your Lashing Tail Kicks and boosting that up with some more damage from your Mystic Ally active. This build is truly amazing, ladies and gentlemen. I definitely suggest you try it out because it is really fun. Let's go ahead and move on into the cube. First up, I use Ingeome. You can use Flying Dragon, and if you are pushing GRs, I would suggest Flying Dragon here. But Ingeome, your skill cooldowns are reduced by 10 seconds for 15 seconds after killing an elite pack, and you will be killing elite packs left and right, and you will be able to dash, dash, dash right to the next elite pack, pick up your DBs, dash, 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 etc. Rinse and repeat. For your armor slot in the cube, you will be using Rivera Dancers. Lashing Tail Kick attacks 50% faster and deals 300% increased damage. Then in your jewelry slot, you will be using the Ring of Royal Grandeur. This is what's going to allow you to wear 5 pieces of inners and still get the 6-piece set bonus. Now let's take a look at the gems. First up, we have Bane of the Stricken. Each attack you make against an enemy increases the damage it takes from all of your attacks. Now this could be swapped out, I guess, while you are Nephilim Rift farming, but I leave it there just for the Rift Guardian, just to knock them out really fast, etc., because you do attack really fast with this build. Then we have Bane of the Trapped. Increased damage against enemies under the effects of control impairing effects by a certain percentage, and this gem itself is a control impairing effect, so you get this bonus at all times against enemies near you. Now for speed farming, I use Bane of the Powerful. Gain 20% increased damage for a set amount of seconds after killing an elite pack, and you gain 15% increased damage versus elites and take 15% reduced damage from elites. Other possible gems here are Wreath of Lightning or Esoteric. And if you are pushing greater rifts, I strongly suggest the Esoteric, because that is going to help you stay alive in 80 plus GRs. Alright, now on to the skills. First up, the Bread and Butter, Lashing Tail Kick, Sweeping Armada. This is the highest damage that you can get on your runes for Lashing Tail Kick. Then for speed farming, I use Mantra of Conviction. Killing an enemy that is affected by Mantra of Conviction grants you and your allies 30% increased movement speed. This is going to allow you to keep moving around the rift as fast as you can, finding elite packs, taking the DBs, taking the progression globes, and moving on. Now, if you are pushing greater rifts with this build, I suggest Sweeping Wind, Inner Storm for the Spirit Regen, or Blinding Flash, Replenishing Light, also for the Spirit Regen. These both would help you keep your spirit up so that you can Lashing Tail Kick more and more. But I use Mantra of Conviction for the speed boost in Nephilim Rifts. Now, next up we have Epiphany, Desert Shroud. Infuse yourself with sand, reducing damage taken by 50%. This is going to allow you to take less damage, and it's a nice boost to your spirit regen as well whenever it's active, and it will be active quite a bit due to your Obsidian Ring. Next, I use Dashing Strike, Way of the Falling Star. Gain 20% increased movement speed for 4 seconds after using Dashing Strike. I use this when I am speed farming. If you are GR pushing, you definitely want to change this out for blinding speed and that increased dodge chance. Next up is Cyclone Strike Implosion. This is what's going to let you pull all of your enemies into you so that you can Lashing Tail Kick and use your Mystic Ally active and just obliterate them. Last but not least is your Mystic Ally. It does not matter what rune you choose here because you get all of them. Air Ally is very important. Thankfully, like I said, you get that no matter what, because this is what's going to cap off your spirit whenever you use it. It's also going to cap off your life pretty much, and it's going to deal a massive amount of damage as well because you are using Bindings of the Lesser Gods, and this just wrecks stuff just as much as your LTK. Now for the passives, I'm using Seize the Initiative. Dealing damage to enemies above 75% life increases your attack speed by 30% for 4 seconds. Then I use Harmony. 40% of your single elemental resistances from items instead increases your resistance to every element. Then I use Unity. Each ally affected by your mantras increases your damage by 5% up to 20%, and you will always have 20% increased damage due to Unity because of your mystic allies. And they also get 5% increased damage. And last but not least is Beacon of Yeetar. Reduce all cooldowns by 20%. This is very helpful in bringing everything back up off of cooldown as fast as possible. Alright guys, 4 passives on this gear. As much as you would like crit chance, critical hit damage, area damage, those are all going to boost your damage substantially. You also want pretty high DPS weapons, that type of thing. But your main thing that you are looking for on your gear is reduced resource cost, because you definitely will be spending a lot of spirit using your lashing tail kick, and you definitely want to keep that spirit up as much as you can. So the best way to do that is reduce resource cost. This is a very, very important skill augment to have on every piece of gear that you can get it on. Both weapons, your shoulders, your gloves, your rings, those should all or mostly have reduced resource cost. Very important, because LTK sucks up a lot of spirit, and you definitely want to be using it as much as possible. Another good thing to do is throw a topaz in your helm. This is going to help with that just as much. Alright guys, down in the description below I will put the Paragon distribution points just like always. Guys, thank you very much for checking out this build guide. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it, and I do hope you get some enjoyment out of this build. Guys, have a great day, and peace.